Neymar got put on a field with only women, and he got schooled. The showdown went down at a Red Bull event to mimic street football. You know, that famous pickup game. What Neymar didn't know when he accepted the invite is that he'd be up against some seriously good female players. The dude even tried some moves, pulled off some slick dribbles.
So, fantastic performance from the side. Unfortunately, not enough to get into the lucky losers round.
Oh, Neymar! Was that a foul?
But they were all over him like glue. Those girls weren't cutting him any slack. Still, he managed to pull off a few tricks. Check out that sweet assist he made for his team's goal.
Teammate with the pass. He's in a tight corner here. What's he going to do? Oh, that's what he's going to do. That was incredible! Oh, that's out of this world. It's a brilliant finish.
But it didn't take long for the opposing team to level it up, and it was a straight-up embarrassing goal. While Neymar's team was still celebrating, those players pulled off this amazing goal.
Oh,
it's 1-1.
Cheeky equaliser.
It's 1-1.
They've hit back immediately there.
From then on, it got serious. Every time Neymar tried to pull off a fancy move, the opponents shut him down hard and killed the play.
Here goes Neymar, running from deep. Off he goes. It's still Neymar. Couple of step-overs. Neymar has the ball. Can he keep his footing? He can. He's asking for some support, I think. But he's still got the ball. It's Neymar, and then it just runs away from him.
The guy's team tried, but they just couldn't find the back of the net.
Lofted forwards, and just wide, and the rebound also can't be tucked away. And someone in the crowd copped one in the face there.
I was going to say he's got an earful.
To be honest, even though Neymar pulled off some flashy moves, he was completely overshadowed by the women who were putting on a real show. Check out this assist Neymar got to put his team back in the lead.
Neymar's in space, could have played the pass then. Here he is!
Yes!
There is surely the winning goal. 20 seconds left.
And they were killing it with the dribbles too. Look at that amazing nutmeg the player pulled off. But this wasn't the only time men and women faced off in football. Crystal Palace had their men's team go up against the women's team. Who do you think came out on top? Before we talk about the game's result, check out the slick move one player pulled on his opponent. How cool is that? And that wasn't the only humiliating dribble in that game. And don't think for a second that women don't have the physical strength to take on men. Look at that defender stealing the ball from the attacker who was much bigger than her. The men's team kept pressing the attack, but the girls' defense was on point. But it was no use. Crystal Palace's men's team was the first to score with that awesome long-range shot. Of course, the women's team wasn't just defending the whole game. Check out this rocket from outside the box. But it didn't take long for the men's team to score their second goal, and it was a beautiful play by that forward. The third goal almost came after this beautiful 1-2 play between two players. The women managed to pull one back after a defensive blunder from the men's team. Despite the 3-1 score, both teams gathered at the end, because it was all in good fun, with even some coaching staff members joining in. One of the players on the men's team was actually the coach himself, and the girls weren't shaken by the result, so much so that they became champions of the English Women's League that year.
The 2023-24 champions of the Barclays.
Barcelona did something similar, but the teams didn't face off. They just got together for a photo since both the men's and women's teams had been champions that season. What would the MSN trio have done in that game? Now, what this YouTube channel did was historic. They settled a worldwide controversy. Recently, some experts said that the goals should be smaller in the women's game because women are smaller than men. Statistically speaking, that's true. In the last Women's World Cup, practically all the goalkeepers were shorter than Casillas, a goalkeeper considered short in men's football. Despite making sense, many players were against this change. So, the question remains, just how good is a professional female goalkeeper? Do they really have a disadvantage because of the goal size? Thinking about that, the LDN Movements channel took on a challenge with Grace Pilling, the starting goalkeeper for Manchester City's women's team, and you'll be surprised by how this challenge turned out. The guy started off by scoring this amazing goal, which honestly, few goalkeepers could catch. It didn't matter which side he shot from, the goalkeeper couldn't reach the ball, and she did look pretty small in the middle of the goal. Of course, he was only hitting shots into the corners of the goal, and most of the time, the goalkeeper didn't even jump to try to catch it. And even when he shot to the side where the player was positioned, she couldn't get to the ball. And right at the beginning of the challenge, she said this.
You're a professional keeper. You're a pro!
The only save she managed was when the ball went right past her, and even then, she had to stretch a lot to catch it. And remember, she's a professional goalkeeper who even represents her country in World Cups. But tell me, do you think the goalposts really had to be smaller in women's football? This wasn't the only showdown between professional women's and men's football. It's common for women's national teams to prepare for the World Cup by playing against men's teams. In one of those instances, the Brazilian women's national team, one of the favorites for the title, took on Sao Paulo's under-17 team. The Brazilian Federation didn't release the results or the highlights of the game, but they say they lost 4-0. The same happened when they played against an Australian team's under-15s and lost 5-0. The Federation tried to hide the results again, but none of this takes away from the girls' merit after all. They're gaining more and more space in football, which is great. But this caused such a stir that a huge fight between players and teams started. And the problem is, there's always disrespect from one side. Before a match, one player sent a message to those criticizing women's football.
This message is for Ryan Reynolds and Rob Macklin. 1, you should be here right now with your squad. 2, your team about to go down in North Carolina. Let's go! Let's go! USA! USA!
And yeah, the match was against actor Ryan Reynolds' team. And what was the result of the match? Check out the goals.
Again, you got to be careful. There's a shot, and there's a goal. Nice spin move here by Lloyd. Lloyd fires and scores back-to-back on the counter. Another shot and another goal.
More players around him, and also look for the players running off of him. It's a big ask, but...
Well, there's Trundle able to turn, but Trundle able to keep it. With the left, and Trundle with his second goal.
And to kill teams off, so yeah, so far so good in this game.
So far so good, another goal. Trundle got a hat trick. Mark Carrington. Again. Murkoff trying to move around, and that's going to be a nice pass and a goal. Murkoff takes that shot with the left, and Murkoff is able
swinging to make that perfect contact.
And that was perfect contact. Here's a turnover. Jarvis, there it is.
Yeah, in the end, the match ended 12-0. The truth is, the two modalities are completely different physically and even financially. Unfortunately, women's football doesn't receive as much investment, mainly because it doesn't generate as much money as the men's game. But tell me, what do you think about this controversy? The truth is that the two modalities are completely different in terms of physical and even financial aspects, which doesn't mean that one is more enjoyable to watch than the other.